are a show that is all about integration. We're bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of diverse abilities, showcasing a variety of aspects of ability-related topics. So the concept of disability does have quite a wide range of possibilities, right? Could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction. There's a huge wide variety of possibilities with this. We all know people who are affected in some way, some shape, could be us. So we are here to bring everybody together and to talk more about these topics. And we have some awesome guests that are joining us again here tonight. I'm going to first of all bring in our lovely DeVa. We have Denise Vargas of Live Creatively joining us tonight, and I'm excited for a piece that she's going to bring to us and introduce to everybody. So I'm going to pop this over to Denise. Welcome aboard, hon.
Hello, and hello, Milwaukee. I love being here with you, even though I'm from New York. But you know what? Because of Zoom, we are all connected. So awesome. And actually, that makes me happy. And this is August, which is the month of happiness, believe it or not. So, and because, as Sue mentioned, we are always talking about challenges and, as a person with a disability, first of all, I'm always happy. Happiness is in my DNA. So when someone tells me that they're bored or they're not happy, or like I try and find out what the underlying reason is. Because first of all, there's always something to do. And the more that we are here for each other, the more we connect, the more socialization we have, all that just helps to bring on your happiness. And when we are happy, we worry less. We are able to function better. We even our pain. For those of us that deal with chronic pain, just being in a happy mood really just shifts your energy and your state of mind, which then brings you to mindset, right? So happiness really is a state of mind. And Edwin Edinburgh has this great quote that I love, and just thinking about it makes me happy. And I might be paraphrasing here, so forgive me, Edwin, if you listen to this later on. But he says that do not allow the past or the future rob you of the present. And how true it is that the present is a gift, right? It's called the present because it is a gift. And it makes me happy to know that we have the ability to really shift our mindset. And I'm just happy that I know all of you. That in itself has made me ecstatic. And again, anything that I can do to help anyone be happier and shift their mood and get their happy on, I'm all for it. So, and you know what? When we go around later on, I'd love to know what makes each of you happy. So it makes me happy to be here with you. Back to you, Sue.
What a great question. I think that is a perfect introduction here to say, what is it that makes you happy? So I'm going to bring in Aaron. I'm so glad Aaron is joining us tonight. Aaron, can you come on and join us and say hello to everyone and talk to us a little bit about what it is to you being happy? What is it that makes you happy? Aaron, welcome.
Oh, so really honored to be here again. Related to the question about being happy is I love being myself. I mean, everyone can be themselves. If the world actually sets restrictions, we break it and we actually be true to ourselves. I think that's one thing that I and actually everyone can be still happy on that part because you're being true to yourself. There's no regrets. There's no restrictions. You're able to innovate just like I am doing right now. I like myself to be like a polar bear. For example, you can see I'm here like I love bringing like things that can really represent me and really share my thoughts through it. Because in life itself, there's nothing much more precious than being happy itself. Because happy is a state of mind. Happy is more like we can turn things around. We can spread happiness around to people who might be feeling down, and that's a very big empowerment factor. Many people fail to realize that happiness is not a given. Happiness is a gift. And and when you have this gift of happiness, it's contagious. It's just like laughter. We do have a session, I remember, in an organization in XMP that they always have this session whereby we laughed and we share the laughters to everyone. That is just only like a couple of minutes, but that couple of minutes may mean eternity to some people because they have never tried it. They may feel happy for the first time in their lives, all for a while. So for those of you out there who wants to think about happiness, maybe a given to some people, it's not. It's something that you can really find within yourself, being true to yourself, and start being passionate about the things that you like to go for in life. Just like what Denise has mentioned before earlier on, the past and the future shouldn't rob you from your present because the present is a gift. Happiness is also a gift in that aspect. So that's all for the sharing here.
That's excellent. I love what you said there, that happiness is not a given. Happiness is a gift. That's tremendous. That's something I know I've heard also. If you see somebody that does not have a smile, give them yours. That was when I first heard that one, I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. Something as simple as just smiling at somebody as you're walking by can make a difference. Saying hello. I mean, it's reaching out and showing even that little bit of caring. It may be the smallest gesture on your part, but you never know where the other person is at, and that could make a huge difference for them with wherever they may have been at that point in time. So I think that's brilliant. I love that. And Emily, I know you're on here too. So Emily, if you could hop on as well, if you want to say hello to everybody and let us know, what is it that makes you happy?
Hi everybody, I'm Pewaukee. I guess one thing is kind of being with family and friends and HMP and everybody that sounds cool right now. So, I mean, just kind of, I agree with what Denise and Aaron said. But you're going along with it. I mean, with what you were saying, Sue. I mean, Edwin sort of seems like through his 1,000 conversations, like help somebody not commit suicide, and that's kind of happiness too. So that's kind of what I have to say.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't realize what an impact we can have on another person. And yeah, can you imagine having the title of CHO, Chief Happiness Officer? I think that's a pretty cool thing. So it is a real deal. I mean, that's something. Actually, this Saturday we're getting ready to help out at an event that's taking place in Landon, Wisconsin. So local to, it's just a couple miles from where we live here. That is a suicide prevention awareness event. So it's a 3K walk. We're actually part of the Optimist Club, and with what our role is, basically we're part of the hospitality. We're going to be handing out waters and helping people with what's going on at the walk. But the fact that this even exists that's one of those things that kind of, if you really think about it, kind of pops you between the eyes a little bit, like, wait, we actually have to have an event to bring awareness to this critical piece of suicide. I mean, it is amazing. I've been actually kind of surprised just how prevalent the topic has been in my circle in the last, I'd say, year or so. Because I know with Brian Gibson and what he's done with Hope Stock, that he just had an event that they had just had, and then just their overall goals with what they're doing at at his location, that's part of the purpose there too, is to help veterans as they're transitioning from military life to civilian life, and that's a real deal about where are people at with the topic of suicide. So happiness is something that a lot of people, I think, just take for granted. You don't really think about it until there's a reason to. And the fact that this month is that is a topic and a reason for a conversation, I think, is brilliant. And with that, I'm going to pop this over to Kurt. I want to bring you in to say hello and to share with us, what is it that makes you happy? Kurt, over to you.
All right. Well, I guess first of all, excuse me, pardon me. In consistency with the show and being involved in radio, I obviously have a little bit of craving attention. So having people like all of you out there providing me attention is fuel to happiness. But an important note in all of this is, as we mentioned, the work of Edwin Edeberry and happiness as a default position, and happiness as a skill. Happiness, has that opportunity to be driven by, again, saying a default position or kind of a countenance. And, so we're a member of Optimist International, and there's the Optimist Creed. And, obviously it helps that when we're around people that...
Hello, I'm finally here.
All right, Rose Onama. Rose, we were just talking about,
the one and only Queen of the Nile.
Yes. So Sue is just asking me, what makes me happy. And so now that you're on, we can announce that I'm happier now that Rose is on. So Rose, how are you doing? And how is happiness?
I am good. I am happy. I have a story to tell you. Whenever you're ready, when you let me know when I can do that. I've shortened it to just a minute.
All right,
or so.
we are ready, Rose. You are our official storyteller here at AbilityMKE.
All right. Oh, do I love storytelling? One of the things I wanted to, I connect with people through my storytelling, and I like to teach people how to do storytelling instead of angry words. My grandma who died at 105, she always used to tell us when we did something bad, instead of calling a person out by name, she would tell the story of an animal that had that same characteristic. So that way you will listen as a child and not be offended and shut your ear off. Anyway, so I learned to do that, but I also learned how to involve people who can't tell long stories. They tell their own stories. And that's one of the things I'd like to do, is organize a time like that, where one person starts a story and reaches a certain point and stops and gives it to somebody else, and that person tells the story from their perspective. And that way, you can get to tell a whole night of storytelling. But storytelling is a very good way of getting rid of tension for yourself and telling people about yourself without feeling self-conscious. Of course, me, I never feel self-conscious. I like to do storytelling. But, today I was thinking how blessed I am. Because 16 years ago, this July, I had a major stroke that left me paralyzed on half my body on my left side. Before this, I was like I danced. I paid for my undergraduate degree by running AAU track for Illinois. And I was pretty good too. They paid for everything for my education. And now I'm older. I'm over 60. I'm closer to 70 than I am 60. So, I'm always thankful. Like I say, it's better. And I used to teach dance professionally and dance a lot myself. But I realized, what? I gained so much more from being physically disabled and being in a wheelchair than I lost. one of the things again is my dignity in that I stepped off the stage because I was sick, not because I was too old and I got pushed off. That's what happens in the dance world. Anyway, and I continue dancing. So I'm getting ready to teach people to dance in wheelchairs. You don't have to be wheelchair bound. You can be an older person or somebody who has hip issues or feet issues. You know, I have a student who loves to dance too. She is Puerto Rican. And I taught her how to do some African. Of course, you know, Puerto Ricans have a lot of African moves in their dancing, like any Latin American or Caribbean music does. And, you know, so I like to teach that. I have so many things I want to do. That's why I never allowed even my spinal cancer that put me in my chair finally to bother me. I escaped that. I'm 12 years cancer free. I escaped heart transplant 6 years ago by 4 months. So I am very blessed, you know, and so now I never look at things negatively. Much has been given to me, much has been taught to me. I want to teach other people how to fight for themselves. And, you know, I love a good fight. And I take my physical challenges here as a fight, a very good fight that I'm winning, you know, and I want to take anybody along with me. Even if you're not physically challenged, come along with me and learn how to do it so you can teach somebody else. You know, as I say, each one, teach one. And that's the best policy to have. But I have a whole bunch of things I'm doing, and I'm so blessed to have met up with Kurt. You know, Kurt, you have really helped me. As we say in my language, uje kogwe. That means my brain is burning. You have lit a fire. Well, I'm constantly thinking of, I'm trying to make a vision for us with Linda's Sculpture Garden so we can have a center stage on, you know, our disabilities, our abilities, actually. And so I will really be very happy for everybody to join me and work with me, and we all work together and make it an event that nobody will forget. That's it.
And that's perfect. We've actually been talking a bit here about August being the month of happiness, and that this is a piece that makes you happy. How perfect is this? I love that what you bring here, and that your passion is contagious. I love what you're all doing with all this. And I just wanted to open this up to the rest of the crew here with Aaron and Emily and Kurt and Denise. And do any of you have any thoughts that you wanted to share about what she's all been talking about?
Well, first of all, I love your grandma. How awesome is that? You know, I love people, you know, who go past that typical age barrier that people have this image of. You know, if anyone that knows me knows that I'm all about age is just a number, you know, and just like fine wine, the more you age.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely. I love that. So, yeah, happiness. Let's just be happy, right? Let's make each other happy. Let's just have more fun in life. Live, laugh, love.
Awesome. And Kurt, did you have anything else with that?
Oh, to me, you know, it immediately brings, you know, the force of empowerment. You know, Sue, you and I have been at an event where it talked about the art of allowing, you know, which is inspired by, you know, The Secret and the law of attraction. And there's things like the mastermind concept. So there's this whole acumen. And then, you know, I talk about in the disability community and, you know, the idea of ability and, you know, the irony of, you know, being labeled disabled or, you know, being people with disabilities. And you look at, you know, really the abilities there, you know, by each and every individual in the disability community, and how there is, you know, with Tori Prudziński, there's this idea of stigma, and so that's part of what we're doing here is we're trying to flush out stigmas, and we're trying to give rise to, maximizing the potential in this art of helping people be the best versions of themselves. And the disability community brings us the strong concept of self-determination. So it's really turning to people with disabilities as the guides, of how we can get more out of life. And I tout people with disabilities as masters of ability. And if we create this heightened alertness and this demolition of barriers mentality, that's what you and I did, Sue, in the world of water skiing. We just totally changed the paradigm, and it's kind of like water skiing's for everybody. We're going to get everybody skiing, the inclusion of water skiing campaign. And through that energy, we more than sextuple the access to the sport of water skiing. And so this is what Rose is hearing from me, is that we're going to get her did. Right, Emily?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I was thinking, instead of calling ourselves disabled, we just call ourselves ability challenged.
Excellent. I love the different terminology. We
are ability challenged instead of disabled.
Yeah, I know that was a favorite. Chad is a good friend of ours that's been on here multiple times, and I know one of his favorite phrases is "Look at my ability, not my disability." And actually, so quick shout out to Chad. Tomorrow's his birthday, so happy birthday, Chad, wherever you're at.
We take this out of the way. Happy birthday.
And Aaron, I just want to bring you back in here as well. Did you have anything else that that this brought to mind for you, Aaron?
I think the conversation is very intriguing because as an advocate for people with, we call that special abilities, because I always think that everyone has a special talents and stuff. As basically that story that our speaker just shared, it just makes me reflect on the power of public speaking and storytelling itself, because in just a couple of minutes is a very fine art to reflect and also share one's life for just a couple of minutes. Builds credentials, builds trust, builds connection. I really appreciate that, especially on your genuine sharings and to of your grandma to us, and that really makes an impact. I really thank you for sharing on that part. Along the lines, I think everyone has so much to offer in this world. I actually wanted to build a place without labels. But that's hard because sometimes people are judgmental. People will actually just give us labels. No matter whether you are anyone in this world, we all have labels in sometimes. But that whether these labels will be helpful and really making us feeling very happy in some way, it's really up to us to be very objective about it instead of being very subjective. So that's all we're sharing.
And I know you've got connections with what you've done with TED Talks, and I had just actually listened to one a couple days ago that just so happens the topic was happiness. And the part of what that person was speaking to was asking the question, was today a good day or a bad day for you? And to take a moment and think about, was today a good day or a bad day? Okay, well, what about tomorrow? What do you want tomorrow to be? Do you want it to be a good day or a bad day? I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna say a good day. It's like, well, what about the next day? Do you want it to be a good day? Do you want it to be a bad day? And just think about that going forward. If you're expecting to have a good day, if you put yourself into that mindset that, I want to have a good day. I want to be happy. And to be in that mindset, that makes a difference, because who thinks about that part? It's like, well, am I expecting it to be a good one or a bad one? And which would I prefer? And what is my role in making sure that happens? So there's so many things that can be learned and touched on like that. Aaron, go ahead.
I was saying that sometimes I think that speech is actually very helpful for around 70 to 80% of the people around the world. That speech itself is supposed to be inspirational when I first heard it. But there are some people that some talks cannot reach. That's why we have many, many talks and many, many types of speakers around the world that reach the connection. A story can connect to many people, but it cannot connect to all people. And we're still trying our best. It is one of the philosophy that a storyteller is aiming for, is to connect to all parts of the world and all parts of every type of people. If we can master that craft, I think we can accomplish it. I mean, like, for me, I can pass away without regrets if I eventually achieve that in my lifetime. Now, for that one, because I am in the past, I was a really extremely pessimistic person. I don't trust people because of all the losses and all the pains I had before. But then, as the time goes by, storytelling, through sharing and doing many, many talks, keynotes around the world, I start to build that trust and connection again, and that to me is not about thinking about whether today is like a good day, because every day to me is like a so-so day. But then at least the last day that I have, I wish to be a happy day for people around me instead of mine. I wish that people can see that my passing might be something that it doesn't mean that it's cheering them up. I mean, like, at the very least, it doesn't make them cry. But that's one thing that I want to go for. So happiness, as I mentioned, it's not given as a gift that you can still give on. I'm trying my best to be happy, despite all the busy schedules and work life. It's more like a challenge of balance. But yeah, thank you for allowing me to share this thought.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Aaron. And with Denise bringing this topic forward of happiness, I so appreciate that concept. And I know we touched earlier on the optimists, and that there is this optimist creed. I'm just going to take a moment as we're closing to actually read the creed to you so that you know what that's about. So the Optimist Creed, so Optimist International is a great organization. And here is what we read at each meeting. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. And with that, I can't thank you all enough for what you've done and what you bring to this show, with the stories, with all the parts and pieces that we are here together. We are Ability MKE Now. And for Kurt, Emily, Denise, Aaron, and Rose, I'm Sue, and we thank you.